Ordinance 23-02.
Ordinance 23-02, an ordinance of the City of Winter Garden, Florida, reserve approximately 0.23 plus or minus acres at 114 Florida Avenue, north of Pennsylvania Avenue, west of Charles Street, east of South Dillard Street, and south of Florida Avenue from R2 Residential District to City C3 Professional Office District, provide for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is a request for rezoning for a .23 acre property located at 114 Florida Avenue. The owner of this parcel also owns the commercial property to the west at 403 South Dillard Street, which is the location of Betty J's Florist and a State Farm Insurance office. There is an existing single-family home on the property which the applicant intends to maintain and convert to a commercial office after the rezoning. Staff has reviewed the application and determined that the proposed C3 zoning is consistent with the property's commercial future land use designation. And with that, we would recommend approval of ordinance 23-02.
Has there been any disagreement with the neighbors, either to the east or across the street to the north?
None that I know of. When the site plan application comes through to convert it to commercial, we will be having community meetings and outreach to get neighbors' opinions on that.
Okay. Questions from the commission?
I was a little confused when I saw C3, but then I realized that John explained it to me that it's C3 professional. I thought C3 was a little intense, but C3 professional office, so it is just office.
Yeah, C3 really kind of limits you to really low intensity uses like professional office.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
Like that he's redeveloping the existing, that's awesome.
Okay. This is a public hearing, so we will open the public hearing if anyone wishes to speak. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, and we need a motion
Motion to approve ordinance 23-02.
for the second reading and public hearing on January 26th.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, ma'am. Ordinance 23-03.
Ordinance 23-03, an ordinance of the City of Winter Garden, Florida, amending ordinance 22-35, the City of Winter Garden fiscal year 2022 to 2023 budget to carry forward prior year appropriations, provide for severability and an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Commissioner. Ordinance 2303 amends the current year budget to carry forward prior year appropriations for projects such as machinery and equipment, and other items budgeted but not purchased, along with projects budgeted but not completed by fiscal year ending FY 2022. This will ensure that there is adequate funding to purchase these items and complete the projects that were not completed by year end. The difference between last year and this year is a little over 11.6 million, and the primary reason for the increase is about 7.4 million is associated with Marsh Road, along with 500,000 in additional funding for capital projects in East Winter Garden or through into CRA, along with some heavy equipment such as the new fire rescue, some street funding, and a potable well out of the western storage area. I'm happy to answer any questions today. Staff would recommend approval of the first reading of ordinance 2303, the second reading of public hearing scheduled for January 26, 2023.
Questions from the commission? The meters, I'm looking on City of office, like another 400,000. Was that extra meters? Is it new growth? Is it expense?
So if you remember, many years ago, the city set out to change out their old meter
Right.
and transition to the census smart meters, and this is for additional meters to complete the last phase of that project.
Okay. One other question, I don't see it, so any other questions from the commission?
It's been a long time since we started. How have the first round meters held up? Have they come back?
John, you may not have an answer, John, but you can get back to me.
I don't think there's been any problem, not been advised of any, but definitely research. And I think that started before my arrival to the city.
Yeah, it started.
Yeah.
It started quite a while ago.
About 15 years ago, yeah.
I just figured, yeah. Okay. This is a public hearing. We will open the public hearing if anyone wishes to speak. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And we need a motion.
Motion to approve ordinance 23-03 03 with a second reading and public hearing on January 26, 2023.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance 22-44.
Ordinance number 22-44, an ordinance of the City of Winter Garden, Florida, submitting to the electors of the Winter Garden a proposed amendment to the charter of the City of Winter Garden, authorizing the City Commission to determine whether the city manager is required to be a resident of the city, providing a ballot, title, summary, and text for the proposed amendment, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for conflict, severability, and effective date for the amendment if approved, and effective date for the ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Angie? Josie?
Sure. This is an ordinance, this is an actual second reading and public hearing. The motion was made on April 14th that we should extend the residency requirements for the city manager through March 2020. This was approved by the City Commission with the intent that the city would submit a question to the electorate on the March 14th, 2023 ballot. The question addresses whether the city should remove the residency requirement as noted under the subsection 28 of the city charter, and to give that discretion to the City Commission. This ordinance does contain that language for that ballot question, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Well, from my position, I think we ought to go ahead and drop this ordinance for a couple of reasons. One, we're not going to have an election, so we would be opening up all the different polling places in the city of Winter Garden at a cost. And I don't know what the turnout would be, but it would be very, very small. So I think we're just wasting our time, energy, and money. That is my opinion on if we go through this with this.
I concur as well, sir, and also to add that the city charter provides that the board is empowered for the reason of good cause. And certainly, I think you demonstrated good cause in this decision, and certainly city manager Lloyd has exemplified himself in his role. So I would think no reason to observe that either.
Any objections from anyone?
We can keep extending
Yes.
as we see fit.
And
It gives the cheap way out if he does something wrong. He can just reinstate that. We don't have to worry about that.
Yes, you wouldn't want to live in here, man. What you mean? Okay, we need a motion.
So, motion to withdraw ordinance 2244.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Resolution 23-01.
Resolution 23-01, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Garden, Florida, declaring the qualifying results of the 2023 general election for districts 1 and 5 and the candidates duly elected to office by virtue of no opposition for a four-year term through March 9, 2027.
The city, yes, Mr. Commissioner, the City of Winter Garden closed its qualifying for the 2023 general election as per the ordinance of 22-08, and that was closed at noon on January 10th, 2023. The resolution 2301 contains the results of that qualifying period, and for the record, the qualifying information, one resident, Lisa Bennett, has timely qualified as an unopposed candidate for election to the office of City Commissioner, District 1, and is hereby duly elected to serve a four-year term commencing with the oath of office. And one resident, Rees, has timely qualified as an unopposed candidate for the election of the office of Mayor Commissioner for District 5, which is the entire city at large, and is hereby duly elected to serve a four-year term commencing with the oath of office. That oath of office is scheduled for Thursday, March 23rd, which would have been the commission meeting after the election. And be happy to answer any questions.
Congratulations. Congratulations. It's the first four-year cycle as well. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to stay around a while.
I got to tell Linda eventually. But thank you. So we need a motion on resolution 23-01.
Move to approve resolution 23-01.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Recommendation to approve the 2023 food processing equipment use agreement.
Well, The contract that would have been used for the 2023 general election, it was scheduled, as I stated, but it looks like we would want to go ahead and put this in place. We never know if there's some special situation, and at least it be in place. There was one situation with the question on page 9. It looks like that should be, it's part of the canvassing criteria. It looks like that should say yes, because we have since 2008 used the Orange County Supervisor of Elections canvassing criteria, and we generally will adopt that before an election. So I would recommend approval for the election services contract, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the commission? Hearing none, we need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the processing equipment use agreement.
Okay. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Recommendation to waive formal procurement procedures and allow the city manager to sign contract with Sorko Services. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Over the last couple of years, staff has been working with Orange County and the Winter Crossing neighborhood to establish and expand the existing MSBU on Lake Roberts to also include Lake Reaves. That MSBU was approved last year. As part of this process, we had agreed to help clean up Lake Reaves prior to Orange County beginning their spraying process. So staff reached out and got quotes from 2 businesses to clean it up. One was from Sorko Services with a maximum cost of $75,000 plus grapple and hauling. The other was from a company called Solitude Lake Management, and their cost was $187,000 for the whole thing. Through discussions with Sorko, they estimated there would be a total of 30 loads of grapple and hauling, and that would be $750 per load. At $22,500 is what that would be, making their total $97,500. Staff would request that the board waive the formal procurement procedures and allow the city manager to sign a contract with Sorko Services for the maximum cost of $112,125. That includes a 15% contingency, which would allow them 19 more loads if needed. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Can you touch for a second how maybe John can pick them, because when we're looking at these quotes, you can't really compare them.
No.
Because they're looking at it in 2 different ways. One's doing the entire lake, one's doing the part that I think that, we're responsible for.
It is the entire lake.
Yeah.
Through that conversation with them, I clarified that they did mean the entire lake. I had asked for a price by acre. Sorko said they couldn't give it to me by the acre. They gave me a price by days and said we will have the entire thing cleaned up within that time period, and that would be that $75,000.
Yeah, and you're coupled that their 30 loads are gonna be close.
I asked him that, and he said that is our estimate. That's also why we have the 50%
Right.
contingency that would allow that slight variation if need be. Yes, we're.
Any questions?
And I get a lot of questions on this, Steve. So where is this going to get us in the process? Are we done other than maintenance once this is done, or is this just a phase in the process?
We're done.
Okay.
The MSBU Orange County begins the spraying process.
Yeah, the whole idea here was to come in and do some mechanical harvesting,
Right.
because there was such a large area of vegetative debris that needed to be removed, so the county was very concerned over just spraying that and letting that sink
Right.
in the lake, so this is what the county.
And this is the entire lake. This is going to take care of it.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that was my question, I just want to be 100% clear, because one of them's 190,000, one of them's 112,000, but they're both doing the exact same work, it's just the wording.
That entire center portion of the lake, obviously there could be small bits left along the edges, but yes, that entire floating portion that shifts out there.
Large tons. Large tons.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification.
Any other questions? Need a motion?
Move to approve and waive the formal procurement procedures and allow city manager to sign a contract with Sorko Services to clean up Lake Reaves in the amount of $112,000, $125,000, includes a 15% contingency.
Second. We have a second. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Recommendation to waive formal procurement procedures and allow city manager to piggyback the Ormond Beach contract. Yes, sir.
The chief operating officer at the wastewater plant is temporarily on leave, and we are required by state law to have a Class A operator at the plant. Staff would request that the board waive the formal procurement procedures and allow the city manager to piggyback off that existing contract with U.S. Water Services that they have with the City of Ormond Beach. Under that contract, 6 months with a Class A operator would cost us $65,975.
Questions from the commission?
I think it's reasonable, especially since they're covering benefits and all the other stuff. Probably, squash for us.
And our operator may be back sooner.
So do we have a?
Hope so.
Yeah, can we terminate that agreement at any time? Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
And I'll just add that we do have another employee that has actually passed the A operator's test. But unfortunately, our DEP laws require them to have a number of hours before that license actually becomes activated. So we'll have another one here shortly that's available to us.
His is actually 6 months.
Yeah.
He's got the hours.
Okay.
So in 6 months, we'll have another backup, or we can have ours return, hopefully.
Yeah.
We certainly
Should have
that
two of
too.
them. Get back.
And good wishes to the, our employee.
Yeah.
Keep them on funds.
Okay, we need a motion.
Make a motion to waive the formal procurement procedures and allow the city manager to piggyback with Ormond Beach and U.S. Water Services Corporation to provide the Class A wastewater for $65,975.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Recommendation for this, thanks, sir. Recommendation for the city manager to sign revenue agreement between the city of Winter Garden and St. John's River Water Management District. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Staff has been working with the St. John's River Water Management District to finalize a revenue agreement for a portion of the design and permitting of the Lake Reaves dredging and material placement project will be funded by the City of Winter Garden. The project consists of channel dredging and nearshore habitat dredging in the vicinity of Newton Park Boat Ramp. Placement of the dredge material can be on the district-owned Lake Reaves North Shore property or potentially dewatered and used for an alternative beneficial use. The proposed dredging will also provide a Lake Reaves water quality benefit by removing unconsolidated flocculant that is easily resuspended due to wave activity. Dredging the channel will also provide a benefit by removing sediment for boat navigation. Be happy to add, sir. Staff would recommend allowing the city manager to sign the revenue agreement in the amount of $100,000, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the commission? Will dredging it like that, what's gonna prevent the silt, mud, whatever you wanna call it, from coming back in a relatively, I guess, short time?
To be honest, I'm not sure how long it would take, but
If they don't keep going?
if they don't keep going, yeah, I think eventually the bottom would start to sink over again.
Yeah, and that's what, I mean, if it's years, I guess it's, worth the.
Yeah, I'd have to ask the folks at St. John to see if they have a timeline on
Because
it.
we, talked about that in the past, and they had those, what you call water purifiers that were, supposed to run the water through, take the silt out, and, we don't want to get back to, trucking all the muck out of here.
Not at all.
No.
Once the engineer is selected, obviously that'd be a discussion that we have. Is, in the next phase of this, which is going to be quite expensive, how long would it take before that flock would accumulate? What would cause it to accumulate? So we have a better understanding.
Hopefully the lake's, cleaner, so obviously not going to be as, quick as it was in the past, but, okay.
Next phase is gonna be quite expensive.
I suspect that it probably would be.
Yeah, you hadn't seen the dollars that we can get to on that. Any other questions from the commission?
That was exactly my question too. That's, I think, what John was laughing, but, so this has been in the works for years and years with St. John's. And we have to kind of have the engineering to know what we're dealing with.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We need a motion.
Move to authorize the city manager to sign revenue agreement between the City of Winter Garden and St. John's River Water Management District in the amount of $100,000.
Do we have a second? We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Recommendation to approve site plan for 459 9th Street.
Thank you.
All right.
This is an application for site plan approval for a city-owned property located at 459 9th Street, which is owned and commercial development. The applicant is the Boys and Girls Club, who intends to build phase 1 of their building on the southwest portion of the city's property. Phase 1 consists of a 9,980 square foot building as well as parking and other site improvements. The Boys and Girls Club is also planning to construct a phase 2 addition to the building at a later date. Staff has coordinated closely with the applicant on this project and recommends approval of the site plan subject to staff conditions.
Very good. I think we're going to be excited that they're going to be here. We look forward to that. So, questions from the commission?
I just want to say, Randy, just give us a wave over there.
Say
Randy
yeah.
June. So, I don't know if you know, but Randy June dreamt this project up, raised the money for it, engineered it, got it through the process, partnered with the staff, and staff worked closely with him. I just want, it's been a long time coming. Thank you so much, Randy, and thanks to the staff for getting this done. This is a great project for the city.
This question is two questions. The first one is, I see that part of the design has we have paved parking and then part of it is grass parking. Is there, as demand grows in a different phase, will we eventually extend that parking out and bring people on the grass?
So there is some line work shown on those plans that shows an extension for phase 2. When they build the second portion of that property, they'll have to go back through site plan to see, what's going to be paved and what's going to be grass. In some instances, we do allow a certain percentage of grass parking in addition to paved parking. If it ever becomes an issue with maintenance or what have you, they may pave it in the future, but for the time being, we would allow it.
Okay. I didn't know, are we extending, I know we have some offices out there, are we extending our police resource officers into any locations around there to continue working with the youth in the area? Is something to think about?
Yeah, we'll be working closely with the Boys and Girls Club, obviously. We will still have our presence and we will add additional resources as needed. But in terms of the operation and what the city will be doing and services and programs that we will be providing, we'll come back with an operating agreement too.
It's such a great time to mentor young men and women in school.
All right, thank you. All right, anything else? Need a motion?
Move to approve the site plan for 459 9th Street, West Orange Boys and Girls Club, subject to conditions.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Recommendation to approve site plan for 12623 West Colonial Drive. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. This is an application for site plan approval for property located at 12623 West Colonial Drive. This property is zoned C2 and has a commercial future land use designation. This is the location of a former Raceway gas station and convenience store. The applicant is proposing to redevelop the site, maintaining and renovating the former convenience store building and adding 2 additional commercial buildings on the property that will be occupied by new retail, restaurant, and or professional office uses. Staff has reviewed the application and recommends approval subject to staff conditions. Can I answer questions?
Questions from the commission?
So it was a gas station,
Yeah.
and in the future, it's not going to be.
That is correct. Yeah, they're taking the existing, what was the gas station convenience store building, they're turning it into just a commercial building. It could be, restaurant, retail, some other use.
What do they do with the tanks?
They have already removed the things.
We're not gonna have any EPA issues.
Hopefully not.
I'm sure they did a study.
I hope they did. I hope they did. So, within the site plan, there is a comment on there about chain link fences. I was a little concerned about the possibility of what's going in. I'd like to see that not move forward. I know we're requiring some fences in certain parts of the property.
There's an existing chain link fence on the property. They're just going to continue it. They're going to do black vinyl coated chain link. This is what the proposal is. We do allow it in certain situations in commercial properties, and it's vinyl coated.
Yeah, I'm not in favor, but I'd rather see put up a solid fence there, and I know some neighbors had asked about that.
And I do believe they intend to grow plants under it, correct? And so it's going to be covered with some climbing vines to help, I guess, soften the look.
Yeah, my preference would still be that we put up a solid fence as opposed to a chain.
It's kind of industrial in that area.
It is. So yeah, we're just trying to create a better barrier and then also cut through of people is the other thing that's opposed to mentioned, so.
Yeah.
So that's why the more solid fence, so if you take that back and consider that, it would be appreciated.
Would you be opposed to a different fence type?
I think if he's bought the site and then buildings around it, and
Sorry.
If you come up here and speak.
Come join us for a minute.
very trying hard.
And thank you for investing in our community, we appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
State your name, address.
Sharon Williams, 473 Geranium Parkway. And I'm with Exchange Place. We're the developer of this property. So, I don't know if you have any renderings. Show them.
There you go, that's a very good rendering.
These are the Perfect.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Is the intent to have like a living wall there with the?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah, and it's actually a softer visual to the property. Because the property has, because it's going to be 3 separate buildings basically, so we're gonna have green space between the buildings. So doing something that was hard against it might actually not design-wise look as nice as if we were to put up a chain link fence with, or continue the chain link fence that already exists. And then we put up a jasmine vine that grows, which then flowers, and it's quite nice. Yeah. So the,
The aerial on the bottom.
so this gives you an idea of what the project is gonna look like. And then behind the existing building, which is the center building, is where the chain link fence already exists. And it's just around the pond.
So it's not coming up the sides or the front?
No,
No.
I like it, I'm good.
yeah.
It's better when you can visualize it.
Yeah. Commissioner Sherman's good, I'm good.
That's a motion and a second, I believe, Mayor.
I think
So moved to approve the site plan.
I made it look.
Wait a second, okay, hold on. Do we have, yeah. So is there any other questions while she's up?
No, I'm satisfied with that.
Okay.
Thank you for taking me through.
Okay,
Yeah, no problem.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I made a motion, Mayor.
No?
It's
I'll make a motion.
it's similar to the Betty J's, and we were all very happy with Betty J's design. It's kind of a similar motif.
It is.
I love that look. It looks great.
Normally when you see that, when you read through the back, you're like, oh, you know, your mental picture is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I think, I'm okay.
I told the motion.
Okay, so you're gonna make a motion?
I made a motion.
Make a motion, you made a motion.
I want a second.
And you're gonna
Commissioner
second.
Sherman's motion.
All right, we've got a motion, we've got a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Recommendation to approve site plan for 761 and 771 Garden Commerce Parkway. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. This is an application for site plan approval for a 2.87 acre property located at 761 and 771 Garden Commerce Parkway, which is zoned PID, Planned Industrial Development. The applicant is proposing to construct 4 new buildings on the lot, which will house office and warehouse uses. Staff has reviewed the application and recommends approval of the site plan subject to staff conditions.
Questions from the commission? Look pretty good, so. Questions? No, we need a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the site plan at 761 and 771 Garden Commerce Parkway with staff recommendations.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Board appointments, P and Z. Yes, ma'am.
So there are 3 members of the Planning and Zoning Board that are up for reappointment and have expressed the desire to be reappointed. Those members are Joe Dunn, Mark Hyde, and Steve Ambielli. And so with that, staff would recommend that these 3 members be reappointed to the Planning and Zoning Board.
I know that I spoke to Joe, and he did express that he would like to stay on. So
appreciate it. Now, I'm going to actually, for District 2, for this next cycle, nominate Linda Bennett. Not related to Commissioner Bennett here, by the way.
I like your name.
Yes, great name though. Ms. Bennett is a retired professional engineer. It's been over 30 years in engineering and has served on several boards at the City of Orlando. She has a BS in civil engineering from the University of Iowa and is LEED certified. Her husband has spent his entire life here in the Winter Garden area. Proud nominator.
League certified.
Is just out of curiosity, because Joe is, I think, the vice chairman. I've talked to several members on the P&Z board, and they were all, you know, talking about what a good job he does. So is there something that is, I haven't been to P&Z meetings, to observe, but I'm just going to, I'll ask, about that, so.
No, I can't, two seats, but I lost one last year for
Yeah.
the board, so it only gives me one spot.
Yeah.
I know sometimes you have expressed that you don't feel supported, and it's honestly not about that at all. And I don't know Linda, I like her last name. And she does have some qualifications. I always tend to want to keep, the experienced people that want to stay. But that being said.
Every time I put someone new on the try to run against me.
Here you still are.
Okay. So we're gonna take them one at a time. So first is District 2. You want to throw out Linda Bennett. Is there any form of a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other names? Okay, with that, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. District 3 is Mark Hyde.
Yeah, I'd like to keep Mark. I've spoken to Mark, and he's very experienced, and I'd like to keep him on.
Okay.
I didn't really have any, I know there's some applicants, but I think Mark is doing a good job. I'd like to keep him there.
Okay, that was a motion, I assume.
Yes, sir.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody else? Want to throw out? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Steve. District 4.
I'll find him and go back on the meetings and use the general staff.
Okay,
Just one more motion.
that's your motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion, second. Anybody else out? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. And we will go on to the Code Enforcement Board.
Thank you. Our code board, one member has recently resigned, so there is currently an open seat. So staff recommends the commission appoint a new member to the code board.
Okay. It's a pleasure.
I'll make a nomination of Dan Welsh. Dan is a retired mechanical engineer, has served the community for many years, 3 years on the board at Oakland Park, 30 years at Walt Disney Company, moving in Florida in 1992. Dan has been active in many community events and is well qualified, so I'd like to put forth his name as a possible candidate.
He's in your district?
Yes, sir, he is.
Looks like District 1's well represented.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. District 1, that's why I was asking if you. Yeah, okay. So we have the name Dan Welsh. Anyone else? Okay, was that in the form of a motion then?
It is, sir.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried unanimously.
I think Mr. Welsh is here in the back. To your
Oh,
sir.
oh, yes,
Thank you.
Very good, thank you, Mr. Welch.
Thank you for volunteering.
Board appointment confirmation, with regard to police and firefighters.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
This one, I believe that this one is mine.
Yes.
This basically is a housekeeping item. It is the trustee, Phil Cross, has been unanimously approved already by for reappointment by the current trustees of the Winter Garden Police, and Firefighter Pension Board. And as per city code, they are seeking the city commission's confirmation of the appointment. This new 4-year term is through December 31st, 2026. And I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Well, I think we need a motion to confirm Mr. Cross.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Motion to approve special event. She's back.
The city is planning to hold the Heritage and Music Festival event downtown on Saturday, February 11th, in part to commemorate the city's 120th anniversary. There will be various exhibits and activities throughout the downtown, including 6 separate performance stages. This event will run from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. on Saturday, and Plant Street will be shut down from 2 a.m. Saturday morning until approximately 2 a.m. the next morning. So with that, staff recommends approval of the Winter Garden Heritage and Music Festival.
You know, there'll be another stage too. Down from First Baptist Church.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah. I think they're celebrating, 135 years of church in existence, 100 years of the building being there, 50 years of, maybe 65 years of the school, and 10 years of, I'm losing track. Mary, I can't remember the other one. Okay.
You know better than I do.
That's a real part of them. Okay, questions from the commission on our event? We need a motion.
Motion to approve the special event.
Okay, we have a second? Second. Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Matters from citizens of Winter Garden.
Joseph Richardson, 220 North Highland Avenue. It's been my observation over the years that I've been here that when the city, either as a whole or as individual representatives of the city, realizes that they're wrong, the option is to just stop talking. So, for instance, last week, you were asked about the Hanukkah celebration and how the city manager called it a religious celebration. We gave that as the reason for not advertising it more. And as far as I know, there's been no further explanation of this. So, you know, I think that you realize that that was a wrong way to express this at a minimum. If that is the reason that you don't advertise the Hanukkah celebration as much as Light of Winter Garden, then you need to rethink about the way that you approach Light of Winter Garden. It is clearly a religious celebration also. There's a whole format, you sing Christian hymns, read the Bible, not you personally, of course, but the city sponsors this. It says right on the brochure when it's sponsored by the City of Winter Garden. And, in the past, I think a lot of people think that I have wanted to get rid of all religious references to the city. And I think that is, I know that this is a misinterpretation of the things that I have been asking for. When I brought to you the petition to change the way that invocations were handled, there were 3 options. Only one of them was to get rid of the invocations. The other 2 had ways to make it equal access, equal treatment for all religions, for all citizens of the City of Winter Garden. And I believe that there are ways to do that with Light of Winter Garden also. I would be happy to present those ideas, but I hope that the city would consider this. And instead of avoiding explaining things, if you know you're wrong, it's okay to say that. We all change our minds about things. We all learn new information. and figure things out. It's okay to say, yeah, we kind of messed that up. Here's a better way going forward. So, please, all I want is equal treatment for everybody, equal access, and I want the City of Winter Garden to not take a position that appears to endorse one religion over another, or religion over non-religion, or vice versa. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Noreen Dworkin. I'm the editor-in-chief of Vox Populi, nonprofit news site here in Winter Garden. And it's wintergardenvox.com. Get my personal address now. It's actually not often that I get to come here and say, job well done, but thank you for what you said. But the city did a fantastic job with the celebration of the Hanukkah celebration. And in particular, I want to single out Laura Core for handling that beautifully. Anybody who didn't have the opportunity to attend, you missed a fantastic event. I also want to give kudos to Commissioner Mueller for personally promoting this event. I think most people came because they found that event on Facebook. I did a lot of people on the street interviews that evening and posted video about it on our site. And I asked people how they heard about the event, and most of them told me that they heard about it through Facebook groups. So thank you very much for promoting that. I talked with Ms. Core, and she said that this was the largest turnout for the Chabad Hanukkah celebration ever. 175 people. Now, that is nothing compared to Light Up Winter Garden, but for this particular event, which has only been going on for 4 years, this was a record turnout. So I just want to tell you a story about this one woman named Kay, who I talked to for quite a while. She said that she usually goes to Chabad's Hanukkah celebration down on Sand Lake, because Chabad's been doing this for a very long time. And she said, but you know, we live in Winter Garden, so we came to this one. And they came from Hampton to come, all right? And most of the people that I talked to, who I included in my interview, they were Winter Garden residents. You know, they came with their golf carts, they came with their pets, they walked. Not everybody was Jewish, it was open to everybody who wanted to come. And the thing that really struck me as I talked to people was, the thing that I heard over and over again was, wow, I thought I was the only Jew in Winter Garden. I heard that so many times. Well, not everybody in the crowd was Jewish, but there was certainly enough Jews in the crowd to make us see that we were not the only ones in Winter Garden. And oh my goodness, what a blessing that was. And people who know me know that I do not use that word, but so amazing to see how strong the Jewish community is here in Winter Garden. How strong we are. So this was a fantastic event. I hope that the city next year will consider moving the event into a larger space so that the dancing could be a little bit more spread out. The fire eating was spectacular. And to echo what Joseph said, hopefully the city will put some promotional weight behind it, because people enjoyed it. They loved it. And if you build it, they will come. So, job well done. And I'm not going to stop asking the questions. I did not get a satisfactory response. So you can expect the same questions from us next year. But job well done. All right, thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, I'm going to enlist you, Zach Waxler, 227 Creek Pines. I didn't think I was going to speak tonight, but I would love to. I want to congratulate Lisa on your re-election. That is awesome. You're doing a great job. I don't live in District 1, but I frequent District 1 a lot in my golf cart with my 5-month-old daughter. And the whole whole district is beautiful. We love driving around out there. So congratulations, keep doing a great job. We appreciate it. Mayor Rees, to you, congratulations. Another 4 years will be well suited for Winter Garden. You're doing a great job, and I hope you can go another 4 years after this. So thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
I think a round of applause is due.
Matter from our city attorney. Nothing tonight. City manager.
I'd like to begin by wishing you all a very happy new year, and also to congratulate the mayor and Lisa on the re-election and unopposed. We're looking forward to working with you for the next 4 years. Just a reminder that we have our MLK parade and celebration on Monday, January 16th. The parade is at 10 a.m. The Garden Theater will be starting back up with activities in January, premiering with Rock Pages on January 25th. They've got a new production company. And I'll bring back some of these as reminders at the next meeting as well. West Orange Habitat for Humanity. We're going to do a groundbreaking ceremony for some new homes to be built on Bethune Avenue. That's February 1st at 5:30. And the mayor touched on some of the age of the Baptist Church and some of the celebrations that are going on this year. The city turns 120 years old on February 11th. On the dais, we have a bag here with the new logo. We also have a shirt that can be worn during the MLK parade event about us being Winter Garden for you also. I'll be here to celebrate both of those events with you and with the shirt. And lastly, the Winter Garden Community Development Corporation Scholarship Banquet at Tanner Hall is on February 24th at 7 p.m. And I'll ask that you just let me know if you would like to attend.
Thank you. Commissioner Sharp.
I just want to say thanks to staff for holding down the fort while our city manager was out of pocket. They did a good job, and everything went smooth. So, and he's back. We're glad to have him back. And congratulations, obviously, his job. That's it.
Commissioner Lynch.
Say congratulations to the mayor and to Commissioner Bennett. Sorko Services, congratulations. I want to thank staff for everything that went on during the holidays. I had visitors in from out of town, walking through downtown, and they're like, do they do this every year? They just couldn't believe that the entertainers that were out there and the events that were going on, it really was, as I say all the time, world class. So please give our kudos to staff. Thanks again for the Boys and Girls Club. It was a long time coming. Many of you have been hearing about this project. It's been on the slate for a long time. It's going to do great things for East Winter Garden. We're going to have a lot of great events and services in that building as well. So thanks to staff for getting that done, and thanks to Randy Jim as well. I unfortunately will not be at the MLK celebration. I have to travel for some family business, but the mayor has graciously offered to step in, and I will be there in spirit. So
I'll be there for you too.
Oh, thank you, Colin. So you'll have the mayor and the pro tem.
Scary, isn't
It is a little bit. All set. Oh, yes, and more importantly, so we wanted to do one extra thing for Pastor Hodge, and especially for Miss Cherie, who runs a great nonprofit, Finding the Lost Sheep in East Winter Garden. So the city has graciously offered, and I think it's a great idea, to offer them $2,500 to help, just help with the loss of Pastor Hodge and help Cherie do some more of her great work down in East Winter Garden. So we need to make a motion on that.
It'd be good to.
So I want to make a motion that we approve the city manager to authorize $2,500 for Ms. Cherie.
You got a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
That's
it.
great. Thank you. Commissioner Mule.
Same thing happened. Ms. Dottie, Mayor, Commissioner Bennett, so glad to have you. Just over 4 years, like my little neighbor next door here, so thank you very much for having a good time, but it was great. The holiday season was fantastic again, spectacular by all the city staff. Just another phenomenal year. Just want to put out some numbers earlier. I think the first weekend where we did the light up event, and that whole weekend we had a total of about 91,000 people visit us through 2 parades, a light up, some caroling and other events. That's just an enormous number. Nearly double the population of the city, so it was just a great event. So I certainly like that. Certainly very glad that city manager back and in great health. Thank you. Frank did a so-so job, so no, I'm kidding. You did a fantastic job, Frank. Thank you. So I want to thank all those. Shift the tone just a moment, though. I would like to take a moment to think about Officer Terry Westwood. He passed away last week. He was a fine officer. Someone who served in the Navy, and at the same time I did, and he was on a surface ship, so it doesn't count. Submarines don't think it counts. But it was interesting. After his naval career, his years in the Navy, he went into the insurance business and did that all the way to 2017. And then up one day and told his wife, "I want to be a policeman," and she totally supported him, and he got his certificate and came to work for us in 2018, and served right admirably, and wrote lots and lots of traffic tickets. He was a great guy, and the number of officers that showed up and the outpouring was just a reflection of what a great person he was. So, rest in peace. Also rest in peace.
He was.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bennett.
Of course, the holidays, are so much on Florida and the staff, and we just appreciate all they do. We're like a mecca for people to come and take pictures and celebrate. And the first responders, of course, have to do more work then too. I was over at my sister's house right before, I think it was around Thanksgiving, and her neighbors across the street who were elderly had to have the ambulance come. And last time I was involved in something like that, it was for my mom, and it was the service that we were using, and they had to be handed off from our people, and it was really stressful. So it was great to see, that our ambulance service was there on site, and the person could go from, being assessed to taken to the hospital by the same people. It was great to see that firsthand. I'm glad the city manager's back. And super glad our mayor's our mayor for another 4 years. And I was remiss, I think it was last time that we had a meeting, or the time before, it was like Chad's last time, and he was in the audience, and I didn't even say, thank you so much for all he did too. That we're very blessed with our staff, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll kind of echo it. It is a lot of work on staff, Laura and the entire staff, for the 30 days or 32 days or however many days. But our town looks absolutely beautiful. It's second to none anywhere with the job that they do downtown. But it is a tremendous amount of work on our staff. And I just want to make sure our staff always realizes how much we appreciate it. As a citizen of Winter Garden, we do. Second, real quick, I had to be at a ranch house, or it's called the country house now, I guess, but probably has for 20 years. But anyway, a gentleman thought was having a heart attack when Captain Pearson was there. Calm, collected, went over there, kept the guy calm. First responders were there. Everybody was still sitting there eating, just moved tables around to get him out. And it just getting to see our first responders in action. Great job, and we do appreciate it. So pass that along to him. And Captain Pearson was just calm the whole time and just kept things, the gentleman calm. For being reelected, I just want to take a moment to thank everybody. Not me, it's look at our city staff, look at our city commission, you look at our city manager, you look at all of our city personnel and all of the employees, and most of God, you just, and my wife, but you thank, and good people that cost everybody that works. So it's a lot on you, it's a lot of responsibility, and for all of us up here, and just want to thank our staff, thank our city manager, thank this commission, because that's what makes this job what it is, and the employees and citizens of Winter Garden. So thank you very much. And then back to my sarcasm for a moment, but I want to thank Duke Energy for the beautification project on Plant Street, going out of town. It's just, if we continue to clean up the town, it's always nice to know that we have Duke here to help us. And, you can't put any more poles up, I don't think, but cut any more trees. But anyway, with that, I will be quiet, but thank you, and we will.